You're listening to another great podcast in the Stoplight Network.
Welcome to Nintendo Club Podcast. This is not a level, but a new addition to the club. Joining me today is Aaron Riviera. Is that right? Rivera. Excuse me. Today we're starting off, I guess this is the first show. It'll be a beta for all intents and purposes. We're playing around with video recording that will be up on YouTube. So if you're listening to this on audio, this will be up on YouTube as well, youtube.com/TCHATEN to get that. But the new show we're doing here with Aaron is a focus show. So once a week, we're going to focus in on just one topic that I think you guys will appreciate and enjoy. We could go into just different controllers, how those have held up, and various topics, perhaps like just go over the original Mario Brothers and just talk about that game. So very focused show, and the show I do with John will continue as it usually does. So we're just adding to the club, and thank you, Aaron, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
So the topic of the day, you brought this one up, the Wii U, kind of the history of it, what it is today, what it will be in the future, and its outlook this holiday season.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty important to talk about, especially with the new systems coming out, with the holiday season coming out. Basically, the Wii U, was announced 2011 and came out in 2012. Since then, as we all know, it's kind of had some problems. But I think that's about to change with the holiday season coming up.
I couldn't agree more. It's in a much different position, price-wise and everything else. Price-wise, it began life competing against last-gen prices, which is the lowest of lows that those consoles will ever reach. So you're competing against $200 price points per PS3, which is hard to compete against. But,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And especially when you're coming out with all this new technology with the controller and things like that, it's kind of hard to keep the price at that point. So it's one of the things a lot of people didn't realize about that, and that's one of the problems they had at the beginning. But I think that the Wii U has a lot of really good things going for it right now. Like I said, it has the controller. That's like a brand new thing. I see that the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One is trying to do the same thing with the Smart Glass, the PS Vita thing. But one of the problems with that is that the consumer has to pay more if they want to use those features. Also, with the Wii U, you're already getting that, and you don't have to pay any extra.
It's the motion problem, right? The motion that we did was so revolutionary. Everyone copied it a little bit later. PS Move never took off. Kinect had a good install base, but still, it's not 100%, that is what you need. And the Direct Connect through Wii U it's not on Wi-Fi. It's not on something that might get clogged up with latency issues on your home network. This is direct connection over its special own wireless connection. You could plug this in a remote part of the world, and it's no configuration really required. It just works, and that's a big difference as well.
Yeah, and the point that you made that the Wii U just works is really a good point. Basically, anyone from a kid to like an older person could use this thing. Just plug it in, it just works. I showed my fiance just the other day. She was asking about the Wii U. We picked up Sonic All-Stars Racing Transform.
Yep, that is one of the best titles for the Wii U right now.
Yeah, she really enjoys that game. She wanted to play it while I wasn't home, and I just showed her real quick how to turn it on, and she's been playing it ever since. So it's really simple for someone who doesn't even play games that often. Just pick it up and just enjoy it. So
yeah, and another thing just to note is it takes the best of both worlds. Vita has the remote play thing that the Wii U is so great at. Off TV, the entire system is designed to be used without a TV in place. I'm not sure if the PlayStation interface is remote as well, where you'll also be navigating to these games on your Vita. If that's not there, that could be an issue for them. But the thing is, you have smart glass technology too. So with like Pikmin 3, that's more of the smart glass angle. But some games, you want the remote play. So this is everything in one. And having the screen in between your controls is a major thing. This isn't like the smart glass that's not entirely useful for all the aspects you want with second screen gaming. So I'm really anxious to see how that's going to develop over its 5-year life.
So one of the things that the Wii U really has that the other systems aren't going to have is that since it already does come with this tablet feature with the system, the other system you have to buy it separately. And I'm not sure that people that are making games for these systems are going to add these features to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One if they know that the consumer has to go out and buy this extra thing to use to play their game. Because it's going to add, $200 or so. And another thing is with the Wii U, all people that are playing the Wii U are using the same controller. Whereas if you're using Smart Glass, for example, you're going to be using a different tablet than everyone else. Different tablets play differently. They have different features. Not everyone's going to have the same experience. It's harder to kind of tailor that to fit like a broad range of devices people are using.
Exactly, and that is a big problem. That's again, I mean, Nintendo kind of kicks off all of the creativity as far as what to do next in gaming. Everyone kind of follows to that. They've been doing that for a while. They introduced Rumble. They introduced analog joysticks on home consoles. Like, they've done a lot of stuff to innovate gameplay space. And once again, people are saying the Wii U's doomed, but I don't think that's the case, especially going to this holiday season. So I guess before we get to the holiday season, did you want to talk about the history of the Wii U, its announcement, and all that kind of stuff first?
Yeah. So basically, as I was saying earlier, the Wii U was announced 2011. And when it was first announced, there was a lot of criticism of it. People were saying, it's too soon, kind of brought back things about the Sega Dreamcast. We're saying that there's too much technology going into the system. And then it came out in November 2012. The sales were really high for this system. For about the first month, people were really excited for it, but then the sales kind of dropped off. Third-party
it hit
support,
like 2 to 3 million, I think, in the first month or so.
Yeah, they had quite a bit of sales. It was a pretty good start. And then third-party support kind of started to drop off a little bit, but it was still selling pretty well. There's still people are pretty excited for it. And when you look back on that time now, they still had a lot of games coming out around the launch, but they were still criticized for not having enough games.
Their library for startup games, launch title games, is more than any other console launching this holiday season. I think it was 35 to 39 games. Yeah, there's around 30 or so. So games was not an issue initially, at least.
Yeah.
People will complain that a lot of these were ports, which in this case, a lot of these ones coming out will be ports as well from 360 for Madden 25, that kind of stuff. But the Wii U had older ports for hardcore gamers. They've already played those games. For someone like me and some other people just getting back into the Nintendo space or gaming in general, they'd be brand new experiences. So,
and I think one of the problems...
Were you following Nintendo back when the Wii U was announced? Were you kind of in that landscape?
Yeah, so at the time that the Wii U was announced, I had my Wii. I did not play it very often, though. Pretty big Nintendo fan all the way up through the Wii. And then just kind of dropped off. I started playing Xbox and PlayStation 3. And then when the Wii U was announced, I was really excited for it. I was like, I want to get this. Then it was released, and then I just kind of kept playing the Xbox and PlayStation, but I still kept up with it, and I really wanted one. And then I just ended up just getting rid of the Xbox and PlayStation, and I've been playing it ever since.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I was, as I've said before, totally out of gaming space and just decided March, hey, what's Nintendo up to? And got a Wii U, and then I got a 3DS that same week. So, as far as during that first year, it was almost as if Nintendo released it too early. That, if they released it, it's crazy how it would be sound. July of 2013, that would have been pretty cool because they would have a lot more games. They would have had the first party stuff, more time, and those would have been more immediate perhaps, but the Wii would have just been kind of dying even more. So it's a hard decision. Do you let the Wii just continue and just lay there dying, or do you push forward? And they pushed forward. Yeah,
but for those who jumped on it soon, I mean, you're getting all the rewards for it now. for kind of going through all those hard times. I mean, we got the discounts on the eShop titles.
Yep, the 30-cent titles for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And getting all these really great virtual console games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty nice.
It's been good. I've enjoyed my time with Wii U. I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, no regrets.
So this holiday season, it's going in at $299, and that includes a 30-hour experience game if you get the Wind Waker bundle. So that's pretty impressive. That for $300 you get a Zelda game, a 30-hour Zelda game that's been reworked for maximum fun and enjoyment. And it comes with its gamepad. Your old controllers work if you had a Wii, and it's a pretty impressive place, because if you're going PS4, you're looking at the $400 plus a $60 game plus PS Plus, probably if you really want to do it. That's another $50. You're looking at possibly another controller if you want multiplayer. With Wii, you already have controllers. So you're looking either way around $500 to $600 with the competition after you buy all the crap for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the $299 price drop, I mean, that's a really great deal, because not only is it $100 less than the PS4, $400, $200 less than the Xbox, but you're also, I mean, as you said, you have all the controllers, plus Nintendo prices all their first-party games really for like what the game's worth. Yeah, competitively. Yeah. So for example, Wind Waker. Well, they did change it, but it was $49.99.
It is again.
Oh, it's still. They changed it.
So yeah, Amazon was at 50, then brought to 60, not knowing what Nintendo would do.
Yeah,
that was announced a couple days ago. $50 for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Wind Waker, as well as the Sonic Lost World game, which is really cool that they're doing that.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to be getting all your controllers. You can get those pretty cheap now. The Wii controllers. You can get a lot of used Wii games, and also online you can get a lot of Wii U games on sale pretty cheap. So.
No, it's nice. And for people that didn't have a Wii, you have the whole catalog of Wii games. I'm playing through Metroid Prime Trilogy for the very first time in my life. It's a lot of fun.
Really great game.
Yeah, so you have so many advantages with that. And Nintendo's biggest struggle, I feel, is the public opinion of what the Wii U is. Because everyone thinks it's crap, everyone thinks it's slow, and the games aren't fun, the games don't look good, it's last gen, it's all this stuff, and the messaging on Wii U is, I feel, not even there. That it's like a Wii U is a controller for your Wii. Like, that stuff Nintendo has to fix through proper advertising. I'm not sure what they need to do to fix that, but it needs some rectification there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they can do to change that. One thing I see is that like the marketing just isn't really there for the Wii U. I hope to see that change in the next few months. But I think like the biggest problem is, as you said, just people just don't really understand what it is yet. And I kind of think back to the Reggie quote when he announced the Wii U in 2011, is that he said, when the Wii first came out, people really didn't know what it was, and they would see the name, they were kind of confused, like, what is this? And then they started to understand, and once they played it, then it just clicked, it just made sense. And I think that's how it is with the Wii U. People don't understand it, but as soon as you pick it up and you play it, then you know, and it just makes sense. I
also think, though, in-store demos for the Wii U, don't cast it in the best of light. It's not until you get home and you see a reason for off TV being a cool, necessary feature for you that you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. But you don't experience that until you buy it almost. That's another kind of thing about it, you know? Yeah. I think for all those that are on the fence about the Wii U, I think you just need to pick one up, because once you play it, there will be no regrets. There's no turning back. Once you get it, you will love it. No, I agree completely. It's a fabulous system. This holiday season, it's going to have more stellar games than the other platforms, based on all these first-party and third-party titles coming out. You're still getting your Call of Duty on the system. You're playing against players that don't curse and, are super hardcore, that it's not fun anymore. Yeah. Like, it's a good community. The Miiverse stuff is crazy awesome. One thing I've been hearing complaints about, it's capacitive touchscreen just like the 3DS. that's a design choice, not a cost-cutting choice. You would not have like Miiverse drawings the way they are. You wouldn't have a lot of these gameplay elements if it was capacitive versus resistive as the 3DS is. It's not bad technology. It's appropriate technology, I'd say.
Yeah. And I mean, it just kind of goes back to that thing. I mean, once you use it, you don't see that you're like missing out on the multi-touch technology, because Nintendo makes these systems knowing what they're going to be doing with it. They kind of make the systems kind of for their own first-party games, and they make these choices knowing like the kind of games that they're going to want to release on it, and it just works. So,
no, I agree. Yeah. I've on me and John's show, we're going to dive into some non-gaming press feedback on Nintendo and everything, because there's a lot of idiots in the world that just make me angry.
I have to always defend the Wii U constantly. One of the things that's always thrown at me is that they say, there's not enough power, and it's not going to be able to keep up with all the next gen systems coming out. But the truth is, at this point, all the games, they still look just as great, and they run just as well. Call of Duty's coming out. People are saying, it's not going to be as great on the Wii U, but I played Call of Duty Black Ops 2 on the Wii U.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, and it actually looked a lot better than the PlayStation or the Xbox, because they were able to run in full 1080p. All the textures were at full quality, and also playing online, you could use the controller to switch your class without having to pause the game and stop. You could just tap, change your class. You can look at your map the whole time. And also, if you're using the Pro controller, you can set up the gamepad right next to your TV, and you can see the map the entire time without pausing the game. And
you can also use a Wii remote and just point at the gamepad for off-TV play with your Wii remote, which I did with Pikmin 3, and it works surprisingly well. Like, it really did, yeah.
I haven't tried that yet, but I've wanted to. But
the camera is also a sensor bar.
Yeah.
Which I love. Only Nintendo would make that a sensor bar.
Yeah.
So, people have been saying hard drive in the Wii U isn't big enough. And there isn't a hard drive. So first off, press, it's solid-state storage. It's a more reliable form of storage that your hard drives are notorious for clicking and breaking down. Nintendo systems are notorious for ridiculously long life. You have NESs still operational, and 64. GameCubes are like tanks, even with that optical drive. Wii was less that, but I think they've probably sorted that out with the Wii U by now. So that was a decision to reduce noise, to reduce failures, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm glad they did it. That consumers, if you want a hard drive space, you have externals. It supports that, and Reggie pointed out that external drives get cheaper every month. So if they put some hard drive in there, it would be antiquated in a couple years, because you could just, because of the value proposition there. So.
Yeah, and with like new systems, at this point, once you go purchase them, I'm not sure a lot of people are going to want to go out and buy another hard drive to upgrade right away. But you're going to be limited to, I believe it's 500 gigs.
500 gigs, yeah.
Yeah. And with the
no external storage for PS4 was announced.
No external. I did not hear about that.
They might firmware update change that, but no. PS4 is nice that they let you swap out the internal, but only true geeks will open up their thing and swap it out. I feel.
And I'm sure that you're probably going to run out of space eventually with those games having to install every time you put in a new game. Whereas with the Wii U, you can upgrade your hard drive. You can have multiple hard drives plugged in. And the really nice thing about that is that I was just checking prices earlier today. You can get a 2 terabyte hard drive for about $70 to $80. And 2 terabytes is 4 times as much as any of the other systems can hold, and that will last you forever on the Wii U. So. Yeah,
and I also heard you can use USB thumb drives as hard drives. So you just stock up on these thumb drives, and those are quiet and cable-free, and that should technically work, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I actually have a 32 gig plugged into mine right now. I was just testing it out, and it works great.
That's cool, because they make 128, 256 gigabyte ones of those. They're more expensive, but if you want that option, it's there. You're all solid state, it's quiet, it's more power efficient, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as specs of the machine itself, as we said, it's powerful. It's just a matter of developers knowing how to properly use that hardware, I feel.
Yeah, I've actually heard of a lot of developers talking about how they like to develop for the Wii U. It's really simple. They've worked with Nintendo before with the Wii, and it's not that hard to kind of go over to the Wii U. I'm not really sure why a lot of developers aren't doing it or are willing to do it. But I mean, yeah, I mean the power is there. All the games I've played, they look great. They play well. The Wii U's right up there with the Xbox and PlayStation. So.
Yeah. And as far as indie support, that's there. Indies are really happy working with Nintendo. And the cool thing is they're getting good placement on the store. They're on the home pages when a new game comes out. Cloudberry Kingdom, right up there. Even more prominent, I'd say, than DuckTales. So you have a big DuckTales game, less prominent on the eShop than indie titles. So that's kind of a big statement, I'd say, for that support there.
Yeah.
Then online gaming is actually quite good. It doesn't cost any money. I guess it's less system-wide. There's a friend list, but some games use it, some don't. So it's more of unifying that experience, I feel, and the OS has gone substantially better since day one and will continue to do so. So I'm excited to see Wii U on day one versus Wii U 5 years from now, software-wise.
Yeah, the number one thing for me why I stopped playing my 360 is because the online play $60 a year. That was getting kind of outrageous. So with the Wii U, I really enjoy having just online is free. I can get on and play. If the game has online support, I can just get on and play. I think one of the reasons though why the Wii U's online isn't as large now is the system's kind of built for like the local play, and it's really fun to kind of have that local play. I would kind of like to see them put the online onto more games.
I definitely
like
would, because I have nobody to play locally with. I can invite my stranger next door to play, but I don't think he'd be too happy about that.
Yeah, I'd like to see them throw on some online play for like Mario, the new Super Mario Bros. But
yeah, because I would totally have Skype open on an iPad while playing that. Because it's not quite the same as local, but it's a good experience. I've done it before with the Skyping or whatnot there.
Yeah, but the online definitely works well. I mean, I played Call of Duty online. It worked great. Still has all the streaming features such as Netflix and Hulu, and those work great. And you can also take it to your bed. Sometimes I'll be watching like a Netflix show, and then I'll just transfer it over to.
Now I have an iPad, so I could care less about the video stuff. I have an Apple TV, so I'm happy that their focus is still really on games, because I really don't like my video game console to be a home media theater device. I've got a $99 Apple TV that does everything I need for that. I've got my iPad, so. I don't like that direction the PS4 and Xbox One are going, but I guess that's the obvious direction. Let's have everyone spend 100% of their time on the one box,
Yeah, I think they're trying to kind of future-proof their systems, kind of make them, people might get them because they want to play these certain games, but then they'll kind of stop using them once these larger names kind of drop off. So then they'll still have them around because they can watch Netflix on it, or they can use Skype or anything like that. But the nice thing about Nintendo is that they realize they're making games. They're making it for you to play games. So they put on the TV feature, but they didn't put it into the system, which was a really smart thing to do, because you still have this gaming console, but it controls your TV. It has the
It's
TV
so bizarre. It's not a remote. I mean, it's great.
It's a little strange, but it works well. I mean, there's been
I got it set up. I programmed my Apple TV to use my Wii U gamepad to control it, because you can do custom commands.
I
have my D-pad.
That, but I haven't tried that yet.
It's great. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really nice to be able to control your TV with that and still use that TV app, even though it is kind of strange. It's just kind of nice to have that feature without it taking over your system, without it having to try to replace your entire device. Because I as well have like an Apple TV, and that's kind of like my go-to thing for watching TV. But it's like these secondary things that aren't trying to be the primary selling point of the system. It's nice.
Very much. And I guess this is a good time to remind everyone, the first year of any console is the slowest and most painful year that everyone will go through. Because every first year is filled with, you have a drought of games where you don't have very many of those. You have higher prices for the consoles. All that happens for all of the major systems. I see that going into Xbox One and PS4. People saying this Wii U thing is, just for the Wii U, but come 2014, we'll see what happens with those other systems. I'm guessing they'll have the Wii U problem of lack of games and all that kind of stuff, and it won't be until holiday 2014 that it's where the Wii U is. So I think now is where the head start is really going to show. That's holiday season into 2014.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of frustrating when you have the Wii U. You get a lot of people telling you, "Oh, it's already failed," and you're like, "Well, it's still in the first year. Like it's not even a full year yet." If you look back at like the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, they had far worse problems. They had hardware problems. They had a lack of games. It was really hard to get a hold of the PlayStation 3, for example. And the prices were super high. So I mean,
$500-$600 for PS3.
Yeah, they had all these problems, but now when you look back on it, you don't even think about this, or a lot of people don't think about these things. They just see it as being, this really successful system. So
3DS, same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's history. It's repeatable. You can study history, see console sales in the first year. It's the same business. Wii U's been slower, I think, but that's just, I feel, a sign of the times that people are quite happy with the last gen to not upgrade right away. PS3, 360 games are still coming out. Those are fun. And Nintendo is making their transition from totally casual gamers to hardcore gamers. And that's going to be a harder transition than, say, SNES, the N64, or that to GameCube, per se. So yeah, it is a tough transition, but I think it'll be tough for all of them. Maybe the toughest for Nintendo, because they are bringing back an audience they lost with the Wii. I feel.
I think that Nintendo has kind of since they came out about a year before all the other systems, are going to you're going to see them kind of step out ahead after the holiday season, because they're going to have all their games coming out. They already have been out for a year, and they've already had a chance to kind of get over that slump. Because the other systems, they are kind of letting their consumers know that they're going to still be supported for at least 2 years or so. So they're still going to have these games coming out for the last gen systems, and people aren't going to be as willing to move up to the next gen consoles. So.
With Wii, it's pretty clear there's no new games except for shovelware. Get a Wii U. They still sell the Wii, which I think they should stop doing. But yeah, as far as, let's see, the game library, Wii U has the advantage of $20 games, $30 games, $10 games on the retail shelves, as well as the 50, 60. So parents going in, they see the price range of games. It's not all $60 like the other systems. So that is a definite thing going into this holiday season. As far as the future, how many years do you see Wii U as being Nintendo's current console?
Well, if you look back to the Super Nintendo, for example, they were about 5 years before the 64 came out. Yep,
that's very typical. Yep.
64, 5 years as well. The GameCube, same thing. Now, when you come to the Wii, the Wii kind of stretched out a little bit longer. I think that was just because of
milking the goose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was doing really well. Plus, you had the other systems that were also trying to stretch out their lifespan. So I think Nintendo's kind of stuck with it for a while. I think that you can tell by looking at the Wii, it wasn't really planned to live for as long as it did. It was supposed to be another 5-year system.
Yeah.
But the Wii U, I think they thought about that again, and I think they went into it knowing the 5-year cycle, and so I think that they plan on coming out with another system before the other console makers decide that they're going to come out with another one, and they're probably going to be criticized for that as well. But I think that's a pretty smart step. I mean, when you look at the Wii U, of course, it's not going to be able to keep up with all the other games right now.
Graphically speaking,
yes, yeah.
Fun speaking, completely different thing. As well as should mention, I'm not a fan of photorealistic games. I like art style. Like, I like my games to be more art than a movie shot in real life. So with the Wii's hardware, I feel it's capable of matching graphically what you'd want to do in this current generation to showcase that game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be able to keep up with them all the way to the end of its lifespan. I mean, but I think that Nintendo plans on stepping in, releasing something new. And I think that's a pretty smart move. I mean, when you think about the last gen or this current gen of consoles, for the past couple of years, for those fans of like the really photorealistic gaming, it's been harder for those consoles to keep up with what you can do on your PC. Just because, it's just moved on past that point. I think the 5-year cycle is really good for Nintendo because they can still keep up with what the game developers are trying to put out if they want to still have these third-party games that look very realistic. So,
yeah, and 5 years I like is a good lifespan for how long can developers be creative and create experiences on the system before they're eager for some new tools in the toolbox to play around with. So I kind of like the 5-year lifespan as a good length before you get just getting, Madden 30 and you're not creative anymore.
Plus, then you'd be getting the thousands of games that was on the Wii that just kind of, they didn't know how to use the controller. It was just, let's throw this other game out there for the kids, Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, so going in, I think it's been a great 5 years. I'm really excited to see what games are going to come out in 2014 and beyond. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
Yeah, pretty excited. And I mean, I think they have a lot going for them right now, but I'm just really excited to see what's going on next. So,
yeah, $299, hard to pass up. You got the Wii Deluxe, right?
Yep, got the Deluxe. Now, when I actually went in to buy it, I was told that they didn't have any more of the white ones, just like the basic
set.
Yeah,
they're phasing them out, Limited edition now, right?
Yep, limited edition.
No, that'll be a collector's item in like good 10 years of it,
Yeah, but... one of the problems I actually have with mine is that, like, the black, whenever I try to clean it or something, it seems like I get scratch marks on it. I don't know. Have you had that problem?
What kind of... Are you using rocks to clean it or what?
No, I actually just use a regular, like a microfiber cloth. And
I haven't noticed anything like that. There's dust, of course, but, Another final point before leaving Wii U, it's, decisions in design. I like the fact that it continues to be really, really tiny and small on the shelf versus the other consoles, that it'll take them 5 years before they go PS4 Slim or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are bigger than my receiver almost for the Xbox One,
Yeah, and that's a really nice thing about the Wii U is that they knew that they wanted to release one console that's going to last you the entire lifespan. So they come out with their final product, and that's what you get. Whereas with the Xbox,
Nintendo did make the Wii Mini.
Yeah,
but that's a rarity, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's
the
first
video
time
version. I was showing my box of the Wii Mini.
I think that's the first time they've ever done something like that, where they had to
home consoles. I'd say definitely yes.
Yeah, for home consoles. Yeah, but one of the things that like, say that you go for the PlayStation, I mean, you're going to have this really large device like the PlayStation 3. Might not last as long because they didn't build it as well. And then you have to end up buying the slim model. Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
I was amazed at the PS2 Slim. I was in my retro gaming store. It's like... Cause I've never seen one in person. It's like, I remember my PS2. That thing was, like, crazy. So, that'll be cool to see them revamp the hardware for the other systems. But anyways... Yeah. Wii U, I'm excited. This has been a good first year. I'm not bitter that they dropped the price $50. I had a great first year with it. I got cheaper games. I got the digital deluxe promotion. I've already gotten like $15 back from that. So, no remorse here.
Yep, no regrets.
So I guess that is our first episode of this new focused version of our podcast with me and Aaron. Love feedback on this one. This is very beta. I'm still figuring out. We're doing video now and figuring out how that all works. But let me know what topics you'd like to hear. We have some ideas that I'm excited to talk about because It's not often I just get to spend like 30 minutes to an hour talking about, the original Mario or Zelda or something like that. So, or video game music, whatever it is. So, let us know what you're most excited about to hear on this new addition to the Nintendo Club podcast. And you can Twitter me at TCHATEN. You can find the show on YouTube with that same handle, and as well as some other shows there. Aaron, where can folks find you?
You can always find me on Twitter at ALRivera058 at me, or not at me.com. That's my email.
Let's not harass Aaron on email.
ALRivera058. You can also find me on Miiverse with that same handle. So
very cool. And if you have a 3DS, we can add that to the show notes with the friend code if you so wish.
Yeah, I'll throw that on there. I play a lot of Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, so find me.
Very cool. I guess until next week, thanks for watching or listening to, and we'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.